same thing. So for reps, let's talk about feeling good. So how do you make reps feel good? The first way to make reps feel good is through recognition. So I want to teach some philosophy on recognition. And recognition and appreciation, I've said this many times before, is the most underutilized productivity tool in our business. It's the most underutilized productivity tool in our business. And I taught this many years ago for Team Canada when Joe brought me up to Toronto for an event. I'm waiting for another invitation. But feeling good recognition is so important for reps, because reps know how to sell, right? It's follow the manual, cut food, and have fun. You guys are familiar with those three, sell and cut, go. Follow the manual, cut food, and have fun. But how do you get somebody inspired and motivated to do those simple things? Have you ever thought to yourself and try to beat yourself on the head and say, just why don't you just cut a pineapple, or just read, just follow the script? Why are you making things up on your own? Well, because they don't have a reason. The why, right? We always talk about the whys, right? The why creates the reason for the how. The why gives the how, motivation and basically the energy to push it forward. But feeling good, that why is recognition. You have to give reps a why to following the manual. You have to give reps a why to doing the program the right way and not making up their own system. You have to give reps the why to work hard every day. You have to give them the why to not hit the snooze button. You have to give them the why to call in for PDI. Has anybody ever had a problem with a rep not calling in for PDI? Why? Because you didn't recognize them enough. They don't feel appreciated. Have you ever had a rep not show up to a team meeting, or not show up to a phone jam or something, or a PC, something they were supposed to? It's because they didn't feel appreciated. Recognition is the why that creates the motivation and the ability for reps to do everything that they should be doing in the business. Have you ever had a picture perfect rep that did everything? It was probably you. Did you ever have a rep that did everything perfect? They showed up to every phone jam, every team meeting. They were 15 minutes early, always dressed to the nines, and they were just perfect in every way. And you're like, why isn't everybody like Johnny CPO? You ever have reps like that? And the reason is because you probably recognize the heck out of them. And whatever you appreciate appreciates. So the more you appreciate the little things, the more reps are going to be excited to do it. So somebody calling in for PDI, one of the things that our system managers are trained to do is they thank reps for calling in for PDI. Now, in your mind, you might be thinking, well, I'm the boss. You need to call in for PDI because I said so. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to do anything. No, but they want to call in for PDI because you recognize and you appreciate them for that. So every time somebody calls into our office for PDI, the first thing is, hey, thanks for checking in. I really appreciate it. You have no idea how much it means that you check in, because it makes my job to help coach you so much easier, and it makes me more effective. So thank you so much for calling in for PDI. You have no idea how much that means. And in their mind, they're like, that's all I have to do. I get treats every time I just call in for PDI. Seriously, it's like Pavlov and training them by giving little appreciation treats. Somebody comes in for a phone, or somebody comes in early. Anybody have a problem in their office that everybody's always late to everything? Anybody have that? Anybody have an office where the culture is just crappy with people being late? Well, the way to change that is start appreciating and recognizing the people that are on time. And when you start appreciating and recognizing people that are on time, everybody else is going to want to get that recognition too. Right? So it's just the little things. So appreciation for what you want them to continue. But recognition. So this is something that was taught to me by, I think PJ Potter was the one who I heard this from originally. But you recognize people for their performance, not for their results. If you recognize somebody for their results, then it doesn't reinforce the actions that it took to get there. So whenever we recognize people, we recognize for performance, not results. So, and the analogy that I was told was like teaching a kid about baseball. So let's say there's a baseball or softball, you have a little leaguer, and let's say that the little kid, 8 years old, 10 years old, playing baseball and hits a home run. Now, if the coach or the dad or the mom says, hey, congratulations on hitting that home run, you are so good, you're so talented, you're the best little baseball player ever, then all that does is inflates the ego of that kid, and they think that they are inherently good at hitting home runs. They think they're inherently talented at baseball, and then they stop doing the things that got them there, and they end up, going on a downhill spiral, and everybody else catches up. But if they recognize that kid and they say, hey, congratulations on hitting that home run. I'm really proud of you because of the effort you put into practice. You took more practice swings than anybody else on the team. You were at the batting cages early in the morning when nobody else was. They were all sleeping in, and you put in all the effort to give yourself the ability to hit those home runs. So yeah, it was cool that you hit the home run, but the reason you hit the home run was because all the practice you put in. And if you continue putting in that practice, then you're going to continue hitting home runs. And what that does is it reinforces the mentality of practice. So if I say to Molly, and I do this publicly and I also do it privately, recognition is two parts. Personal, private, one-on-one recognition, as well as public recognition. So team meetings or PCs. Find a way, find an excuse to recognize somebody publicly. So, in my office, I'll walk around and I'll embarrass people. I'll say, hey, Amanda, have you met Molly? Yeah. Okay, yes, you have? Okay, Molly is incredible. And you know what I love about Molly? I love that Molly makes more phone calls than anybody else on the team. And the reason why she's one of the top reps, the reason why she's at like almost $100,000 in sales is because she makes more calls than everybody else. She's in the office early in the morning. She's the first one to get on the phone. She's the last one to get off the phone, and she makes more calls. And that's why she's so good at sales. She's not just inherently great at selling knives, because there's no such thing as being inherently good at selling knives, but she's good because she puts in more effort than everybody else. And if you want to hit that level, if you want to be at that level in sales, just make as many phone calls as Molly. So what that does is two things. The first thing it does is it reinforces those skills for Molly, because I just publicly recognized her, and I told everybody that she makes more phone calls than everybody else. So what is Molly obligated to do? To continue making more phone calls than everybody else. So I recognized her for something that I want her to continue doing. And that's making more phone calls than everybody else. So it reinstills those actions for Molly, and then it teaches Amanda and anybody else that's in the room that if you want to be as good as Molly, do those things. So I don't just say, hey, you're the woman, you're awesome, right? That's so cheesy. Have you ever, like the Vector high fives, you're the greatest? No, you recognize people for real things, authentic appreciation.